Hey guys, D-Man here, and I am here to review Sex Education Season 2, and holy shit. This season was damn good. I reviewed the first season, and this season has just as much stuff that draw me into it, just like the first season did. By the way, there's going to be spoilers, but real quick, I'll give you a review without spoilers. Um, Basically, the season was really good. It was on par, if not a little bit better than the first season, in my personal opinion. It has some really tough moments in there, and it has some teenage angst in there, some teenage cringe. If you ever seen the first one, it had some teenage cringe in there, and this one has the same thing, like to the point where you're just like, I don't really want to watch this because it's so cringy. But you'll love it. You know what I mean? It has some parent issues in there that seem to boil to a point, and it has some fresh new, faces and some fresh new drama and kind of a villain. But we'll get into that in the spoiler section. But yeah, all in all, really good season, and I can't wait till the third season because there was definitely some hints to a third season in there. If there's going to be a third season, I'm going to review it because it left off on a slight cliffhanger. But anyways, that's it. Watch it if you haven't watched it, and then come back to see my full review with spoilers. Okay, spoiler talk now. Okay, dude. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have our main character who has a girlfriend now, and the girl that he was with before, they're kind of not They're kind of not talking right now, but then they get to talking again, and then they start doing the sex therapy thing again. But his mom at the same time comes to school and starts helping kids with sex therapy as well. And she's like slightly better for some people, but for some people she's worse. So it's very interesting. Like it's like that line that's interesting. You know, like there's a few people that's like, oh, she's way better than you, but then there's a few people that's like, well, she kind of screwed it up and you helped us, sort of thing. Well, at least like, we saw one person that did that and the other person that did that too. So we saw at least two people, one that liked his mom more and one that liked him more. So that was very interesting. And at the end, he's starting to lose his clients because of his mom, obviously, because she's free and he costs money. And man, does he have a lot of money from doing that stuff. Um, oh man. Oh man. We have a new wheelchair character who might be a villain. He's slightly he. It's like okay. So I'm gonna like jump to the end part here. So he was like an asshole at first because he was a thief, but then he did some good things, and you're just like maybe he's like not too much of a bad guy. But then at the end, he fucked over our main character, our boy. He fucks him over by deleting his phone call to Mavis because he phoned her and he tells her like he confessed his feelings to her and everything like that, and like in a really nice way. And he tries to tell her in person, but she's not there because he sent her out on a mission, on like a run to get stuff because he likes Mavis, like the wheelchair character likes Mavis, and somehow he gets a hold of her phone and listens to this. And instead of telling Mavis what our main character said, he deletes the message, and it's really less like, oh man, that's fucked up. That's some ominous shit. So he is an asshole, and he is like a villain, just to a certain extent, I guess. And it seems like he's only doing nice things for Mavis because he likes Mavis and he wants to go out with Mavis. So it seems like he is just being a nice guy for the wrong reasons and being an asshole, so that's pretty fucked up. Um, and then we have there's a brief side plot there with Mavis's friend who went on the bus and then got wanked on, like jerked off on, and that kind of traumatized her for a lot of time because it's fucked up to be sexually assaulted, especially in a public place. And the cops couldn't do much of anything for her because they never caught the person or anything like that. At least to our knowledge, I guess, because nothing ever came up of it. So there was a guy, he sexually assaulted her. and then she had like this like she started to feel panicked, and she started to have like these panic attacks, and she started to feel distance from her boyfriend and stuff like that, because you know when stuff like that happens to you, you'll start feeling like you'll start feeling like freaked out by people, and especially like the gender did. So if a man did that to you, you start feeling freaked out by man, right? Obviously her boyfriend's a man. So she starts feeling freaked out by it, and it actually relays this kind of thing very simply, you know. And it shows like how you can deal with it. You deal with it by talking to people, but she was keeping it balled up at first, which made it bold to the point where she was just like freaking out and crying pretty much. So you deal with it by talking to people and not keeping it balled up in yourself. And then like the way you get back to normal with like love interest, like a boy and stuff like that, if something happens like that to you, it's basically like you have to like take it slow. And luckily her boyfriend wasn't a dick, so he took it slow with her, so it was pretty nice. So like you have to take it real slow and like go step by step, you know what I mean? So it was really good how they handled that. I really liked that. And then of course our gay guy, he finds a new French guy to date, but he's not really himself with him. You know, he's kind of like a different person because he wants to date this guy, but he's not like he's kind of acting like himself, but he's not acting like himself. And of course, the guy he did last year or last season, sorry. He's there and he wants to get back together with him, but he's afraid, like, because he doesn't want to admit that he's like homosexual or bisexual or whatever. Because he's terrified of what like the consequences and stuff like that. So he keeps on hurting this guy, and at the end, he actually tells him his feelings, and that's pretty cool. His dad, by the way, complete asshole still. Like the principal, asshole. But yeah, at the end, he tells him his feelings. He breaks up with the French guy, sadly, because he was a pretty good character. And he got like his heart broken pretty much. But it seems like at the end, he kind of accepted it and dealt with it, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, man, it's pretty interesting. Like they got together at the end. It's pretty cool. And then we have the main character, man. His plot line, the whole thing with him. I'll talk about the parents later. Okay, last thing is the parents. But yeah, the main character, he's basically doing the same thing. He's giving sex education. He's still arguing with his mom and stuff because he hates he doesn't hate his mom, but you know he gets pissed off at his mom for doing all these things in his life that piss him off. His mom is dating the plumber guy still until he breaks up with her because she kind of semi cheats on him. And it turns out she's pregnant at the end, and that's like a cliffhanger that we just get left off on. But yeah, all in all, the main character has his girlfriend. They try to do it, but he can't do it with her because he's like too nervous and stuff like that. And also he has a real wanking problem in the beginning, like a jerking off problem that he has to deal with. And he probably should have asked his mom or someone for help, but he didn't because he's an idiot, like most teenagers are, which led to a bunch of cringy scenarios and stuff like that. So it's pretty funny. So he never told his mom or anything like that, so he's an idiot again, as I was saying. but man, oh man. So he tries to do it with his girlfriend. His girlfriend finds out that Mavis has been talking to him and told him his feelings because Mavis kind of wanted to get him, but she didn't get him obviously because at the end it's left on a cliffhanger because of the wheelchair guy. But she kind of wanted to take him away from her at the same time, you know. But he was being a good boyfriend, and he said no. And then his girlfriend was just like, hey, you have an option. You either stop seeing Mavis or you stop seeing me, sort of thing. He's like, okay, I choose you over Mavis. Which is kind of a fucked up thing to do. Okay, if you're dating someone, you shouldn't give them a choice between you or someone else. Okay, that's just a fucked up thing to do. Now, I do semi get this, of course. I am a person, and I do have feelings, and I do feel jealous. So I do semi get this when people do this, when people are just like, oh my god, I don't want you to see this person, but you still want them to have their freedom, but you don't want them to see this one particular person, because this one particular person is kind of bad person. Well, at least in your head. And this can happen to men and girls, you know what I mean? And it can happen if you're like, and if you're really insecure, you might be saying something like that. So yeah, at the end of the day, you just gotta have faith in your partner. I guess that's the best tidbit of knowledge I can give you. You gotta have faith in your partner, because if you can't have faith in them, you probably shouldn't be dating them in the first place. Because it's either you're just an untrustworthy asshole, you're just an untrusting asshole, or they're an untrustworthy asshole. You know what I mean? It's one or the other. It's either you or her, or you or him. You know what I mean? It's either you or them. Um, but yeah, like she tells him to stop seeing him. He stops seeing her at the end. But then she breaks up with him. That kind of pisses him off, and I can totally relate to that too. If you say like stop seeing this girl because like she likes you and stuff, and I don't want you to see her anymore, and he's just like, okay, I'll stop seeing her. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, but by the way, I want to break up with you. It's just like, what the fuck? It's like, so you fucked up my chances with you and fucked up my chances with her because I fucked up everything now. It's really a fucked up thing to do, but it happens. So that's a little bit sad, but at the end, the girlfriend, she just wanted to date this other girl, and it kind of led into this whole little little mini arc by itself, where the girl didn't want her, but then they kind of got together at the end, which is cute, So it's not her fault that she wanted to break up with him, but she did do something wrong by telling him to say like that to Mavis, and then breaking up with him out of the blue. So yeah, that's a whole thing. It's really hard to say who's right and wrong in that, because it's obviously not, like, she's obviously not wrong for wanting to date someone else, but she is wrong for making him do that and then saying like, oh, we're not dating anymore, so basically fucking over like all his chances. That is wrong. You know what I mean? And it's gonna take him a while to regain that. So that is fucked up. But man, it was a good goddamn season. At one point, they were going to have sex, but they never did. So our main character had sex with the popular girl out of all people because he had a giant party at his house and got drunk because he didn't want to deal with his problems. And when people don't want to deal with their problems, they get drunk or do drugs or just basically do anything to take their mind off of it. You know what I mean? So he didn't want to deal with them. He's just like, okay, I'm just going to get real drunk. So that was interesting as well. He got drunk and he made an ass of himself, and he basically told his ex-girlfriend at this point, and Mavis, and he basically just like, he's like, hey, fuck both you guys. He's like, you wanted to steal me away from her because you're a unfeeling cunt, Mavis. And then he's like, and you fucked up my relationship with Mavis, and then broke up with me because you're a fucking cunt. Well, like, I'm paraphrasing it, obviously. Because he was drunk and he just fucked up everything. And then at the end, he ended up having sex with a girl without protection, maybe, and then had to get her birth control and stuff like that. So that was a whole little plot line. But it seems like he did kind of help that girl a little bit because she had some feelings that she wanted to talk about. So that was pretty cool. But all in all, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. The principal really was a fucking asshole in this one. He kind of fucked over the main character's mom because he took her book and like spread information about all the students everywhere, which got her basically fired from her new job. So it's kind of fucked up. And I don't know why she never caught him, because he obviously didn't put his thing out there. So you should have just you should have picked up all those papers and read through them and be like, okay, the only one that's not here is yours, so you're the culprit. You know what I mean? That's the only way you can find the culprit. That'd be definite help. But at the same time, it could have been someone that she never talked to, so, you never know. But, she would have done it, she might have found the culprit. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So, and then we come to the parent issue. Okay, so Mavis's mom comes back, and it turns out she was a drug addict that abandoned Mavis, and just abandoned her and her brother. Okay, so she was a drug addict. So now Mavis lives alone, and her brother is, also a drug addict somewhere else. She comes back and she's like, okay, I've been sober for this long. I want to be in your life again. And I can kind of get that, like a parent doing that, wanting to be in your life again. But at the same time, like, when you're that person that had that parent do that to you in the first place, you're going to be all types of fucked up, especially when you realize, like, it was that parent's fault. Which is something else we'll get into when we get into the main character. But, man, she comes back, and she tries to be in her life. So this is my suggestion on this, okay? If your parent that hasn't seen you, or someone that hasn't seen you in a long time, comes back and tries to be in your life, if they're being sincere, you should try to make an effort as long as they're trying to make an effort, you know what I mean? But only if they're being sincere. It's very hard to tell the difference between them being sincere and them just lying their ass off, though. It's a very hard thing to do, right? I would never say, like, if like someone comes back and they're an asshole to you, never fucking talk to them again, right? So you should try to, because that's everybody, like, I know from personal experience, like, that's what you want to do when you reconnect with someone. Like, you want them to be better. You want to have a relationship with them. But sometimes it's just impossible, which it was with Mavis's mom. Now, this show says, like, once a drug addict, always a drug addict. Now, that's not necessarily true. There are some people that can change, but most people just can't change. It's a sad fact of life. Most people just won't change or can't change because they're messed up in the head or something, okay? So they might fuck you over, if anything. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be with them, but they might fuck you over again. So that's something that really fucking sucks. It's something you have to watch out for. Like, sometimes it's good just to let that person go. Sometimes it's just like they want to come back to your life, but they keep on fucking you over. If they keep on fucking you over and fucking you over, sometimes it's just like, I might have to let you go. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing. And she calls child welfare on her because she has like a half sister. So that was pretty messed up. You know what I mean? That was pretty, like, it was like messed up for her mom and kind of messed up for her, but good for her for doing the right thing, because her mom was obviously lying to her. But all in all, man, like, those are situations that really suck. And if it's legitimate, you should try, but don't be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. That's all I can say, right? For pretty much anything in life, be prepared for the worst, hope for the best. That's anything in life, pretty much. And then we have his father, the main character's father, comes back as well, who left him as a small child because he was basically a prick. And his fear is that he's turning into his father. Like, after he hears people saying, like, maybe you're turning into your father. Like, maybe you're fearing that you're going to turn into your father, sort of thing. Which is a fear for a lot of people, that they're going to turn into their parents. Like, they're going to turn into something like their parents. You never want to be like your parents, unless your parents are super cool and awesome and you idolize them, I guess. But most people are just like, I don't want to be like you. I want to be like me. Especially when you have a fucking deadbeat for a parent. Or a fuck up for a parent. You know what I mean? So he has to deal with that, and his dad comes back for him, supposedly, but it's actually because his other wife is dumping him because he's a cheating asshole. And man, that's like a whole nother thing. It's just like, ooh man, that really stings when you find out that, when it's just like, hey, I'm coming back for you. Actually, I'm coming back because my other person's like dumping me, and I just have nowhere to go, pretty much. So that's the whole thing. It sucks. And he also says, like, hey, if you don't want to be like me, if you don't want to be fucked up, don't read this book I made. Which is relevant because some people make stupid fucking books that they want people to follow, when in reality, you shouldn't follow these stupid fucking books because these people are stupid fucking assholes. And some of them know it, some of them choose to just ignore it and choose to not know it. You know, some of them are just assholes, though. You know, and at the end, his dad was actually kind of nice to him. It's like, no, it's because I'm an asshole. Like, it's not you. I didn't hate you. Most parents don't run away from their kids because they hate them. Most parents run away from their kids because they're fucking stupid or they're assholes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So luckily his dad's like, listen, it's not you. It was fucking me. You know, you can't fix stupidity. But yeah, that was a really good moment there. Some parents though do hate their kids. That's pretty fucked up. But yeah, all in all, really great season. Really great, some really great issues they deal with here in this season, and man, just really good. And season 3, if there is one, I can't wait to watch it because this one was really good, and I hope season 3 is just as good. And hopefully, my boy and Mavis can hook up, but who knows? Because we got the evil wheelchair man. That's kind of trying to fuck things up. You know what I mean? So all in all, really good. And just awesome. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell notification. Also, link to my Twitter down below. As always, my friends, stay sane. Peace.
You. And you will be in my belly. You will be the aching. Or perhaps it will be reversed. I don't know. But all I know is that it's delicious to eat.